What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Bite Size Sports or Carnage Media, wherever you're watching, or maybe you're just on my Twitter or Facebook page. And wherever you are, however you're watching, welcome. Thank you so much for hanging out with me here. You can probably read, so you know what we're doing, you know what we're talking about. It's WrestleMania, bro. So, of course, I am here for the Wrestling Minute, guys. It's a pretty monumental day for me here at the Wrestling Minute. We began as a segment, as just a small part of Carnage Unleashed, which back then was Mondays, but now is Wednesdays at 7:30. Be sure to check that out. And lo and behold, the Wrestling Minute, the world of wrestling has gotten so much more popular over the coming months that, you know what, the Wrestling Minute's going to get its own show now, damn it. So here we are. I thought, what better day to begin our own IP here on Carnage Media and Bite Size Sports than talking about WrestleMania XL, baby. So we're going to do the preview. Of course, we're starting with Saturday night, and we're going to do those in order as best as we know it. And then same with Sunday. Now, go ahead and give me your thoughts in the comments below, whether you're on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube. I can see you. So if you want to be featured on the show, if you have a comment, a question, fire away. Would love to hear from you guys. It does make the show that much more enjoyable. But let me get this pulled up here. We've got the WrestleMania card. We got to get this fixed a little bit here. Let me get this thing zoomed in. But first and foremost, for Saturday, we know we have Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch. Um, as we talk about each match, I'm going to give you my thoughts on why it's going to be booked that way. So, again, would love to hear your opinion if you think I'm wrong for whatever reason. Let's get this over. Focus on our first matchup. Well, let's just look at the whole card actually. Before we get too crazy, let's check out the Saturday card as it stands. Okay, so we have what we know to be first, which is Becky versus Rhea. We then have, let me make it a little easier for you guys to see some of this. We have the Usos, the brothers Uso fighting. No title there, of course, but the Yeet is on the line. Gunther versus Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship. We also have a three-way tag. Damage Control taking on Bianca Belair, Naomi, and Jade Cargill. Got Rey Mysterio and the newly turned Andrade taking on Dom Mysterio and Santos Escobar. And last, and in my opinion, certainly least, before we get to the main event, we have the six-pack tag team ladder match. One important note is that both titles are being defended separately. So both titles will be hanging up there, and the match is not over until both sets are retrieved. So I, for one, would be just absolutely shocked if they decided to have the same team win both belts. I think the whole point of that is to be able to separate the belts, but we'll get into that here in a second. And of course, our final match of the night, Saturday, the one for all the marbles, the tag team match, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes and Seth freaking Rollins taking on Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, and the final boss, The Rock. That's right, folks. For those of you who didn't know, The Rock tonight, main event. You excited for that? I'm pretty excited for that. But before we talk about that, since it's going to be the last fight of the night, let's talk about that one last. And let's talk about Becky and Rhea first. So, here are my thoughts on the Judgment Day. And I think it's going to maybe spoil a couple of these other matches, but that's okay. They're not nearly as fun to talk about as this one anyway. I don't know how much longer they're gonna do the Judgment Day. I think at a certain point, the more that those guys are comedy jobbers at times, and then once a month they'll have a match where you're like, "Oh, yeah, they beat somebody's ass, they do something," like, "Oh, yeah, they're actually a formidable villain." I think at a certain point, Rhea is gonna outgrow the Judgment Day, and it might be here, and I say that just because of the way this card sets up. Some of these matches, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I would have predicted them to go the opposite way if they were on Sunday night, but I think Rhea goes over in a great match to start. I mean, they're starting the whole event off with this. I think it will hold up. Rhea's going to go over Becky in a very entertaining match, very hard fought match. And let's just go to the bottom of this next and discuss. Let's do the Mysterios first. I really wish I cared more about either of these, if I can be honest with you. We've got Dom and Santos Escobar taking on Andrade and Rey Mysterio. If you missed SmackDown, this was supposed to be Dragon Lee. The crowd wanted Carlito, by the way, and that's where I thought the injury angle was going. To be frank, I thought, okay, audience didn't love Dragon Lee being named Ray's partner on Monday, so they're pulling the injury angle, which is what they did. And they're gonna I thought they were gonna switch it to Carlito, but no. What happens is later on SmackDown, you've got uh Selena Vega taking on Delgado Phantasmo. Oh, I can't remember her name. Anyway, that part's not as important. During the women's match, after the LWO loses, Santos and Dom attack Ray, and Andrade's having none of it. Well, he's hesitant to do it at first, and they do the "What are you waiting for, man?" They start to get a little physical with him, and then Andrade turns babyface. Let's go, clotheslines those bums, and when they get back to the locker room and find out Dragon Lee's arm's broken and he in fact cannot go, Andrade steps up. So this whole booking has been weird to me. I hope it's getting both groups over. I do because I hate the idea that they're just going to keep these two groups feuding forever. I think Escobar does some great work. Dom has done so much work in the last couple of years that he definitely has gotten better. He's at least good at playing that shitty heel that runs from everything. I'm glad to see Andrade getting used. I wasn't sure. Obviously, we know why he went to AEW in the first place. So I wasn't 100% sold on what their plans would be for him, especially when I see him just immediately get put into this whole thing. It just seems like they have all of their Latin American wrestlers feuding with each other all at the same time. So again, I hope it works to get both groups over so they can go on and do more things. Uh, Neither of the tag teams made it, as you can see, on the six-pack ladder match. So unfortunately, apparently, this feud isn't doing anything to get the undercard guys over anymore. But it's a match. Certainly, it's a match, and I think it will have plenty of high spots, and the crowd will be into it because this is. And I'm gonna kind of foreshadow, I guess, where I'm going on the main event when I do this, but because of how I think Saturday and Sunday are gonna go, I think there's gonna be a big pop at the end. There's gonna get, uh, maybe a finished story at the end of Sunday night. They're gonna end on a high note, and so on Saturday, I don't believe we'll be ending on that high note. So I think we're gonna see more heels win. However, I also think we're in line to see the Judgment Day fall flat on their face. So this one's tough. I'm doing some mental math here, and I think I think Dom and Escobar are gonna win. This honestly, this is the hardest one for me to pick. I wish I hadn't done it first, or second. It's a coin flip. This one's the hardest one for me to pick on who I'm confident, like, who I think would win if I were booking it, and we'll get into more context, I guess, as we go into that, but let's just talk about the six-pack ladder match, get this one off of the plate, 'cause it's annoying, it's gonna be time consuming, I don't even really care about it, so, as I was saying before, I think the whole reason for this match is to finally separate the 2 tag team titles. It's something that, for my money, they have needed to do for some time, uh, and this is a decent enough way to do it. I hate this for a WrestleMania. This feels like, yeah, you have on these really big pay per views. You know, when you take a pay per view and make it 2 days when it doesn't need to be 2 days, uh, you get matches like this. Apologies if this is the match you're looking forward to tonight, but all right. So we have the Awesome Truth. It's the team of the Miz and R Truth. For those of you, who weren't around in 2013. Uh, the New Day, the Judgment Day, of course, our champions Finn Balor and Damian Priest. We've got DIY, Gargano, and Ciampa. We've got the New Catch Republic, Tyler Bate, and the Bruiserweight. What's now? I want to call him Butch. It's not Butch. It's Pete. Pete Dunne. There we go. And then, of course, Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. Holy shit, this one's tough to pick, especially with my theory that they're gonna split them up. Who would they give this to? Yeah, in a vacuum, okay? I just wanna think this one out loud a little bit. Let's talk about the conceptually, uh, theoretically, what I would do looking at the other titles here. Let's just play a game. Let's make pretend that the WWE actually has a stomachable tag team division, okay? Eh, what I would imagine you would want to happen would have some combination of established over tag team, whether they be heel or face, wins one of the title, and some up and coming tag team, whether they be heel or baby face. Hopefully the opposite, right? So let's just say you want to have like an over team of heels, like the Judgment. Maybe the Judgment Day retain one, and then you'd have like the Creed brothers or something win the other one, or vice versa, whatever, right? You'd want to have a little diversity here. But with the teams that they have, I really don't know who they would go to because it could have been Waller in theory, but the way they've used them, I don't think they're credible as a title holder whatsoever. Looks like we've got some comments here. Let's fire up. What up, Justin Herbert in the chat? Hello, brother. Hell yeah. Justin says the Paul Heyman speech was epic. Yeah, it was. That was fantastic. Probably one of the best Hall of Fame speeches, followed quickly by maybe one of the worst. What a weird night that was. But literally had me crying. That when he pulled out the box of ECW stuff, that was awesome. You do have to give it to Triple H with expanding and letting more undercard wrestlers have their chances. No, that's it's good with the bad, right? I was kind of poking some fun at it earlier when I talking about this uh, undercard tag team match here, where I'm essentially just saying this is what you get when you have 2 nights of WrestleMania. But um, there's a lot of other good stuff on here. The matches we're about to talk about. I mean, there's a lot of good shit here. There's gonna be a lot of good shit on Sunday as well. Um, but to put a pin in this tag team match, theoretically, I think it should be the New Day or the Awesome Truth. For me, it would be the New Day because they're uh, numerically, statistically speaking, they've held the tag titles a bunch of times. So if you're trying to add some more validity back to the tag team division. It makes sense to give the New Day one of the belts for a short run potentially. And then I would have went with Waller in theory, but again, I really hate the way the WWE has booked them. No, let's switch back to this one. I hate the way the WWE has booked Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. I feel like they don't feel like credible champions if they win one of these. Maybe it's in some dastardly well, Logan Paul doesn't fight tonight, so maybe he'll help them out. The first titles get, and how are they gonna do that too? They've got both pairs of titles hanging at the same time. Are they gonna be grabbed at the same time by 2 different teams? That will it'll be interesting to see. I think it's gonna be New Day and someone else, maybe Waller and Theory, but honestly, I think they're gonna give it to the New Catch Republic. And I don't know if that's the right move, but my whole theory is the Judgment Day is gonna kinda everyone not named Rhea is gonna take their lumps this weekend, and she's not gonna love that. Now let's go to the women's 6 man man tag. That's an oxymoron. Herbert says, "Yeah, they trying to bring a new Piper Pit and straight butchered it with the Waller effect." Yeah, I'm not a big fan. Even the KO show, like, I just don't love the those segments. I got some heat on Twitter when I mocked the WWE speed thing. I said, they couldn't have fit that 3 minutes into their 5 hours of weekly programming because some of us who still it's not that I hate the show or anything, but you mean to tell me you can't fit a 3 more minutes of actual wrestling into Raw, my guy? Instead, we've gotta have the Grayson Waller effect or the KO show. Put a match on, dude. It's crazy. What happened to and not every match needs an 8-minute every wrestler even needs an 8-minute freaking musical intro. Like, save that for the most over of guys or gals, Like, some of these folks have these long ass musical entrances, everybody's singing, and it's like, man, you could do a lot more with this show if we trimmed some of this and was you could be extravagant on the PLEs because you're on Peacock now. You don't have to worry about like, oh shit, our pay per view is gonna get shut off. Um, Ouch, Kev, you clown WWE. That's not what I mean. That's not what I mean. I love WWE. But anyway, um, when it comes to this match, they have Jade Cargill in it. I doubt she loses. In fact, I imagine she has to get the pin. So Damage Control will probably lose this one, which is odd because I also don't think Jade Cargill can turn heel on Naomi and Bianca yet. She just got there. They're establishing her as this big superstar, and I don't think it didn't make sense to me. There potentially Damage Control could win, I guess, if Naomi or Bianca takes the pinfall. But the way they've set Jade up, I think she has to go over here, and I don't know that they're gonna pull an AEW and give her own mini Goldberg streak again, but they've tried to establish her as this phenomenal A plus main eventer right out the gate, which again, just between us guys here, cone of silence, I think it's dumb to have anyone's first match at WrestleMania. That should be a built up to moment here. Kind of setting someone up for failure, in my opinion, if you have them go out. I mean, that's why this is first of all, it's a the sixth woman. All right. 6-person tag. There we go for PC. That doesn't scream ready for WrestleMania to me. That screams we're going to keep you protected. You know how to do a few moves, and we'll make you go over. Not that I'm saying they should have made her be like a Rob Gronkowski and play WrestleMania host. I don't hate this, but I'm just kind of spitballing. It's WrestleMania Saturday. It's the first Saturday in 2 months. I haven't had to go travel to cover a pay per view, so we're hanging out. So bear with me if I just spew out some of my internal monologue here on you. What's Herbert got to say? I'm in love with Rhea Ripley. Oh, yeah, moment of silence for Bray Wyatt for sure, and also, Justin, you might have missed it before, I do predict your your favorite here, Rhea Ripley. I've got her going over. She's gonna beat Becky Lynch in my opinion. Now, Gunther, Sami Zayn, I'm a big fan of '80s movies and sports movies, so when Gable and Sammy did that whole Rocky shtick, the training montage, as goofy as that was, I loved every second of it. I just don't think Sammy's gonna beat Gunther. Ooh, the big story. Does Cody finish the story? Well, I'm working my way up to that one, Herbert, so I hope you'll indulge me. I will get there soon, but, yeah, I'm saving that one for the end of Sunday. We're almost through the Saturday card at least, so we're, very close to halfway there, 'cause I don't have a ton to say about the Gunther Sammy thing. I Sammy's already held this belt. Gunther's on a Hall of Fame-esque run with it, setting all-time records and whatnot. I don't think it's Sammy. I If they had put Gable in this spot, I might have picked Gable to win. I think Sammy is here because he's gonna look like $1,000,000. I mean, these 2 are gonna do great work. This could be one of the chances to be a show stealer right here. This could be match of the night when we go back and look at it. These 2 working together is gonna be phenomenal. Sammy can sell with the best of them, and Gunther can do crazy things that make you look like you're gonna die from it. So Jimmy and Jay is another fight that, depending on the night, I would have maybe gone a different route. But I'm still really torn on this one. Other than the Mysterios, this is the hardest one for me to guess because I'm just gonna say short version. I think Jay wins. Right, to rip the Band-Aid off and say my prediction as of right now is Jay. Maybe I'm gonna convince myself otherwise as we talk about it because I think the bloodline is gonna go over strong tonight. I think the idea with Cody being Dusty's son, if Cody's gonna win and finish his story, which I guess spoiler alert, I guess I am gonna answer Herbert's. Uh, you can't talk about the Saturday night, tonight's main event, without talking about how you think it leads directly into Sunday stipulations. You can't really talk about one without the other. So thank you to all of those who are going to stick around and hear about the other Sunday matches. But what I'm getting at is this: I think the Bloodline's going to go over strong tonight. It has to look like the most impossible mountain that's ever going to be climbed. So the story, when it is finished, it's that much more cathartic, and it's just a huge moment. They're never going to get this back. You can never put Roman Reigns' Hall of Fame run back in the tube, right? So it's got to be the against all odds. In my opinion, the Bloodline are absolutely winning this match tonight. And I wouldn't be surprised if Seth Rollins gets hurt, and we'll talk about that shortly. I got 2 thoughts of how I think it might play out with Seth, but the Bloodline has to win this one tonight. In my opinion, there's maybe one other concept that I've heard that I might go with. So I'm still leaning that Jay beats Jimmy. However, I wouldn't be surprised if Jay beats Jimmy via disqualification because the bloodline shows up and just kind of cleans house. And another thought is that maybe Jimmy goes over clean. If they want to do this feud as a long-term thing, I think they could do a trilogy between Jimmy and Jay. Because the other thing is this: Jay doesn't need this win as much as Jimmy does, in my opinion. Jimmy would Has he had a huge singles moment, a huge singles win? Jay has at least had a couple of things here and there that he's done as a singles competitor, but Jimmy, for the most part, he's jobbing out as a singles competitor. It's like he's like Dax Harwood, Hall of Fame in a tag team, but shit, can't beat anybody in a singles match for some reason. Or damn, or like poor Solo Sikoa now. Is he 0-40 yet? He's getting there. You know, beat the piss out of Cena just to lose for a year straight after that. See, not all this booking is perfect, folks, so, still probably book of the year, but, look at the competition. So Jimmy, I think Jimmy either goes over or Jay wins, but it's via disqualification. And I do think this is one, maybe they go with a round two right at Wrestle because they've turned Backlash into WrestleMania Backlash, which is just so fucking lame. Make it its own thing. It should never have the WrestleMania's name tied to it just to try to sell more tickets. That's such a Walmart Hobby Lobby fucking sales tactic, dude. Are you kidding me? WWE, WrestleMania Backlash. It's like those cheap ass game studios that will call it Aliens with the C or something, hoping that your grandma doesn't know the difference and buys you the wrong DVD or the wrong video game. That's some bullshit. WrestleMania Backlash. Get the fuck out of here with that. But I think they could run this one back, and then because they're brothers, it could be a feud that lasts for a long time, and maybe you just bring it back for SummerSlam or something like that. You can always go back to Jimmy and Jay, is my point. So main event style for tonight. Like I said, I think the bloodline goes over. The only other situation, and I heard this from a Cornette podcast, I think he was saying that maybe to lead to Roman Rock, there will be something that Roman either does on or not Roman, that The Rock either does on purpose or accidentally screws up, and Roman's gonna blame him for having to face Cody in a one-on-one match. Because let's be honest, it's the bloodline. There have been plenty of matches that weren't bloodline rules where they interfered and did whatever shit. Last WrestleMania, ring a bell. So I think there's a outside chance that Cody wins, but it would have to be at The Rock's fault. But give me the bloodline. I think the bloodline are taking it down. And now, before I switch to Sunday, let me give you guys a quick thank you to everybody who has tuned in so far. I'm loving seeing those numbers. Appreciate that. Wasn't sure how well we'd do. Shout out to my homie Noah, dear wrestling fan, friend of mine, who I know will be watching this at some point. Thank you to Herbert in the chat. Don't forget, like and subscribe if you would for more wrestling content or sports content. We've got live shows Thursday nights for the NBA. We've got an NFL show on Tuesdays. And of course, if you are a Star Wars fan, you can come find me on Dweeb Wednesday nights on Han Shot first. But now let's go into the Sunday slate. I'm going to get that pulled up here. This time we have it in the form of a Triple H Twitter thread. As Herbert pointed out, Paul Heyman's speech was amazing. And in part of it, he said he, for life, will be a Paul Levesque guy. So that was a pretty cool moment. Shout out. There's the big one. Will Cody finish the story? We'll talk about it here in a second. Whew. All right. First match, or at least the match with the least significance, in my humble opinion. Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits taking on, what are these guys called? The Final Testament. Karrion Cross, Occam and Razar. What are they? The authors of pain. Can I be honest? You say, I'm just subjective, just trying to call them as I see them. This is a bathroom break match for me. This is a warm up some chicken dip, get a refill on my plate match for me. If this happens, I can't imagine they would open night 2 of WrestleMania with this. This is going to be after a high spot match. It's going to be in that death spot probably, and I just do not care. we're gonna get our good guy moment, in my opinion. Spoiler alert again. I think Cody will finish the story, and I think there's other good guy moments we're gonna get. Just the way they've scheduled Sunday, I mean, this really it throws. I like it because it throws some of these decisions into the gray area for me. I'm not 100% where they'll go, but I think it's going to be Cross and the authors that win this. Some heels got to go over Sunday night. I do not believe that AJ Styles will be one of those heels that goes over. I think it's going to be LA Knight in this situation. LA Knight over AJ Styles. What a weird booking that has been, by the way. Um, I know they're trying to do like a Stone Cold thing with LA Knight, at least that's what it feels like. But I don't know, he's just done some weird heel stuff with AJ hasn't done enough antagonizing, in my opinion, to warrant LA Knight coming at him the way that he has. And it's just been a weird feud that I honestly hope is a one and done. I don't know if you guys saw this, but in an interview, AJ Styles pulled a Bryan Danielson and said, "It's about to be over for me, and my career is coming to an end soon." He said he was looking for one more good one, basically. I think one more good feud. I don't know how many matches it would be, but I think they'll move on from this relatively quickly, unless AJ wants to go out as a heel. I think this will be a one and done, and LA Knight will go over and they'll move on to other things. We'll see. Oh, this match, what could have been? I'll keep it quick here. Logan Paul's going over. I would have preferred to see Logan and Randy. I maybe even just Logan and KO. The fact that it's not Logan and Randy makes me wonder how many more solo Randy Orton matches are we going to get? Is he even after obviously he's good enough to work after, and he's even talked about doing some crazy stunts in this match. We'll see, but I wonder if we're just going to see Orton in a lot more protected matches. If he's going to get put into a tag team after this again. I couldn't stand RK Bro, but it had nothing to do with Orton. Uh, so I would prefer to see Logan Paul in a one-on-one actual feud. I'd love to see the belt come off of him. But hey, Cody Rhodes is the first official Prime athlete, apparently. So Logan's not going anywhere. So I might as well just fucking get over the fact that a grifter and crypto scammer is WWE champion. At least he's a real heel. We don't have to pretend. Logan goes over without a doubt. So maybe I didn't keep that as short as I originally said I would. Io Sky taking on Bailey. I think this is Bailey. I think it, I think this one's Bailey. It's tough. It could be Io. Io's had it for a while. Um, and is Damage Control they going to lose both of their matches at WrestleMania? I'm torn on this one, but I do think it's Bailey. I think they're giving Bailey her WrestleMania moment. But of course, Io Sky has 3 people to help her out, so it's quite possible, unless unless Damage Control wins tonight, and then Jade Cargill and Bianca somehow show up for Bailey on Sunday and even the odds. Uh, Maybe the least confident one on Sunday night right here for me, but I'm gonna say Bailey. Of course, Drew McIntyre's gotta go over against Seth freaking Rollins, right? That's where we're at with this at this point, right? It's got to be. Drew McIntyre's time. Seth's gonna be hurt. Ooh, Herbert's calling it. Gilbert's coming back. Honestly, if you I know the meme here is that it's Gilbert, but honestly, if you could just say Goldberg coming back and they push him again, and I would think that was a joke. That'd be funny to me, and I'd laugh at it. But also low key, fuck Bill Goldberg, dude. I didn't know it then as I was a young, probably 10-year-old or whatever, running around Bill Goldberg in his heyday. "Oh my god, this is so awesome." Little did I know that he was the reason Bret Hart never worked again, and I would have much rather have seen the way Bret worked. He probably had several years left in the tank, so you know what? With all due respect, that really sucks, but I'm not Bret Hart, so I'm not gonna hold Bill Goldberg. I'm not gonna hate him forever, but goddamn, watch out, there's a hurricane coming. Let's go. I do love me some Helms. Yeah, fuck Goldberg. Goldberg is the GOAT. Bret Hart deserved it way more. That's right. And speaking of deserving things, Drew McIntyre, the heel work has been great. I don't know about, I, you know, I guess deserves it is the right term. Because he did have those runs in front of empty arenas, and it would be nice to see him get a heel run with the title just because his heel work has been good. And I think people are going to have a lot of interest in Punk versus McIntyre. If Punk comes back, that could set up pretty well for a SummerSlam match. That's somehow, some way they've got to get people to forget that this is a secondary title. As much as some folks may hate to admit it, uh, it just is. Roman combined the 2 titles, and then they have an announcement where because Roman doesn't work enough, we had to make this new title, and here it is. And I love that. That's funny, just um, I do think that having a marquee matchup, they need to get it. Seth needed to have it for a while to have some validity. I guess you can't have it change hands a bunch of times in its first year of existence, but I really think they fumbled the way they did that. I thought it was a dumb idea taking those 2 belts and making them 1. Uh, I would have rather have seen them do something like this, what they're doing with the stupid tag team match, than create a new belt and let's just pretend it's up to par with our unified championship. I didn't love it, but it's where we are now, and I do think it's time for it to be with someone else, and a match with the hype of CM Punk's first single match back in the WWE first title match, however you want to frame it, and have it feud with McIntyre, the guy who injured him, and then the way they've worked with that and turned that into money has been great with the t-shirts. And Drew's become a great heel. He's as funny on Twitter as he might be funnier on Twitter. Honestly, The Rock could take some notes from Drew McIntyre if you're asking me on how to do this whole wrestling heel thing on Twitter. But it's been great, and I think it's Drew's time, and he'll also have the benefit of probably being able to cash in on an injured Seth freaking Rollins. Now, while we're cashing things in, will Damian Priest make a run at this title? I'm not ruling this out. If he cashes in and fails, then I think that goes back to my previous theory of Rhea Ripley maybe being done with the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day might resolve without her or something. I can see them moving on from it at a certain point. It's been there for a while. Lest we forget, Edge started the Judgment Day. What might have been we had had more of edge in the Judgment Day, but c'est la vie. Uh, how funny would it be if Priest cashes in on McIntyre after he wins, and we still have to deal with a pissy, uh, jaded Drew McIntyre who's always getting screwed over by people, and he still doesn't have the title. That could be much in the way they made us wait a little longer for Cody, and that worked out. You know, the apples to oranges, but you gotta have Damian cash this thing in at one point or another, and I doubt they're gonna have him cash in against Cody. That would be could be an interesting way to elevate Damian, have him actually win the title, and then have McIntyre feud with him. I don't know. Actually, the more that I think about that, I don't know that I love that. I'd rather give it to Drew. Take me back. Take me back. I want Drew and Punk SummerSlam main event for the title. All right. Speaking of main events, let's do it. Here we are. I have to finish the story. I have to finish this review. Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes in what I assume will be a bloodline rules match. Now, I got to queue up my secret theory here, but I think this is going to be bloodline rules match because, as I mentioned before, in case some newer folks coming in to watch, I think that the higher this mountain is to climb, the more he's gonna try to book it as much like a Dusty match as he can, and therefore, he's gonna have all these run-ins, he's gonna have these near misses, he's probably gonna bleed, and, maybe he's even gonna have some help, and this is where I have some thoughts about WrestleMania that I don't know that the rest of you are going to agree with, but I have a theory for how Cody Rhodes is going to get this thing done, and I'm going to share it with all of you. I forgot to cue this up, so you have to forgive me while I'm looking for it. Give me your thoughts. We're almost at the end here. Um, what are your predictions for WrestleMania Night 2? Because I'm thinking we've got an old friend that's coming back. Somebody who the last time they debuted, they did so to help Cody Rhodes, of all people, showed up to save Cody's ass. Might have even been in a pay-per-view, I can't remember. But that's right, I can't even find the tweet. So we're just, ooh, Paul Heyman turns on Roman. I like it. So in my best Tony Schiavone impression, what if, just like all those times ago in AEW, what if Sting shows up? A newly free agent Sting shows up, helps our boy Cody get the dub. I have no idea what's going on with the camera right now. I doubt it. As much as I would love it, as much as the fanboy in me would love to see Sting get one last WWE appearance, hit a couple of fools with the bat, and at least get to hold uh, the same hand that Cody's got the title belt in. That'd be cool. It's not going to happen, but it was a little tweet I put out that I couldn't find, so I kind of ruined a little bit. But, what you gonna do? Or Gold Dust returns to help his brother. Dustin has been tweeting a lot about it, which I think he probably just got approval from Tony Khan to do, or honestly, probably just knows Tony Khan won't say anything to him about it. So he's just he tweeted it probably like an hour ago. Now finish the story. So I think it would be cool. I doubt it. I would love nothing more. To me, that would be the coolest thing if Dustin shows up. If Cody Cody's bloodline shows up to help fight the bloodline. That'd be the one of the coolest ways they could have him go over. But no, I think they're gonna do the stupid free Crossroads thing, guys. I'm not a wrestling fan that every other wrestling fan will agree with. I don't mind tables, but I get annoyed anytime there's a special clause match and within the first minute, they're like, "We want tables." And another place where most wrestling fans and I disagree is I hate the triple finisher, especially the Crossroads. Man, not everybody takes a Crossroads very well, and it's not to Cody's fault, in my opinion. It can sometimes be one of the uglier finishers in wrestling, and so I hate so much when they do it. When he has to do it 3 times to finish somebody off, and it's just I don't know. It's too much to me personally, but to each their own. That's why wrestling's so much fun. We all get our own little bit of the flavor. That's why I always say root for wrestlers and not promotions. I do love to poke fun at AEW, as you can see right here. Little bite-sized sports action. A main man Kenny. I like to poke fun at WWE as well. You've been listening for the last 40 something minutes. Um, Root for wrestlers, not for promotion. I think AEW has to be around in order for us to get the best product. Otherwise, do you want EA Sports? This is how you get EA Sports. There's only one option. If there's no competition, there's no incentive to do a good damn job. And I love the job that at least some folks are doing at both companies. And that's right. We aren't always supposed to agree. I love that as well. But hey, man, this has been it for me. I got to get ready. The show starts in a couple of hours. I'm going to get myself some dinner. I hope you all have had a wonderful time. Last chance to get your predictions for any of the matches into the comments. I may do a post show. I don't know if it'll be tonight. I may wait until after the show Sunday. I will be on the Clout route tomorrow night from around 6:15 to 8:20, 8:30. So I may miss the first couple of matches. And I also have a recording, a preview review for the Dweeb channel coming up. So I'll be doing that tomorrow afternoon. So I do not know when we will be live streaming next, but we absolutely will be back on the Wrestling Minute to talk WrestleMania, talk about a little bit more about that Hall of Fame. And honestly, we still got to circle back and talk about the CM Punk and Cody Rhodes sound bites from the Ariel Helwani interviews. All that stuff was wild. But ooh, look at this. Evan comes out of retirement from WCW to help Cody finish the story. Hey, one of these days now, spoiler alert, and I won't name any names, but I will tell you this. I have had a local promoter come to me with interest in having me do some commentary. Now, I may try to work my way in as a manager as well, but I think very soon, probably this year, Justin, I will be doing play-by-play commentary for a Midwestern wrestling promotion. I'm very excited about that, and yeah, it's gonna be cool. And then, you know, it'll be great. I might have to change the stream names from Markmania at that point, because then I'll actually have a job in the industry. I can't just be a stupid Mark anymore after that, dude. It's gonna be dope. But we have hit about the 50-minute mark. So once again, guys, thank you all so much. Shout out especially to you, Justin. Appreciate you in the chat, brother. It always makes the show that much more fun to have that interaction. Sixers are making a push. Yeah, that reminds me. Don't forget to check us out on the Bounce Thursday nights at 9. Now that we are gearing up to end March Madness with the Final Four in our sights, we'll be back to our regularly scheduled NBA programming just in time for the playoffs. And yeah, your Sixers are looking a lot better than my Pacers are. I must admit that. Don't forget to tune in, Star Wars fans, to the Dweeb. That's Dweeb with 2 D's at the front. check out our YouTube channel, or you can just follow me on Twitter to watch that show as well. Han Shot First every Wednesday at 9. We are now currently talking about the Bad Batch season 3. So every time an episode releases on Wednesday, we talk about it. Also have Carnage Unleashed Wednesdays at 7:30, where we talk about upcoming and recently completed pay-per-views that we've covered, as well as the any recent news from the world of the UFC and other mixed martial arts. But the Wrestling Minute over there is going to be a lot more short and sweet because, again, we'll be doing this now. And I may actually do it as a live show. Originally, I had planned on doing most of it pre-recorded, but we'll see. Not every week's going to have a WrestleMania, so it won't always be this easy to talk for this long. But hey, that's why it's the Wrestling Minute and not the Wrestling Hour. Once again, folks, thank you so much, those who have tuned in. I'm really out this time. I'm just going to leave you with a word from our sponsor, but I will see you after WrestleMania. Hope y'all have a wonderful weekend.
Sports.
Are you looking for an energy boost without the jitters? Let our friends at Dubby Energy help you with their fantastic selection of flavors. Just visit www.dubby.gg and use the code BITESIZESPORTS at checkout for 10% off your order total. Again, that is www.dubby.gg. Code BITESIZESPORTS.